Mic check, mic check. The wind is whipping here today, my beautiful collective, chosen tribe. So hopefully the microphone is giving you waves and salt water and sunshine and not too much whipping of the wind. Sebastos, welcome in, welcome back. Happy to see you here. You like that mic check 1 2 1 2? I had it on my pants and forgot to turn it on, so I'm glad. I was going to ask if you can hear me, but clearly you can. I'll give you a view of where we're at today, bringing my chosen family, my chosen tribe to Oshun, Mama Ocean. It's absolutely beautiful here today. I would throw a filter on it, but Mother Nature needs no filter. I'm not used to holding the microphone, so forgive me if the sound is really clear at one moment and the next I'm panning my phone and losing you. Always a pleasure. Yes, I'm trying to create a regular schedule of doing lives on Wednesdays and Saturdays. That way I can connect with people mid-work week if they're doing the 9 to 5. And then Saturday, for those of us who just don't really do the bar or the party scene, and that's no judgment. I've been there, done it. But we just want to hang out with our chosen tribe and continue to expound upon our knowledge and find a common ground. This is one of my favorite places, is being at the water, so I really did want to share this with you all. You are so welcome, Sebastos. That really does mean a lot to me. You have no idea. It's nice to know that people are resonating with my energy because it's so much bigger than me. It's about the chosen tribe, creating connectivity, not just through social media where most people are faking the funk, but in real time. If you're here in the chat and the title or the thumbnail spoke to you, leave a 333 in the chat. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're checking in from. Yes, so I actually really wanted to do a walk and talk along the beach. But I do worry that I will lose service as once I get closer to the water. So we'll see. Once I'm feeling myself ready to walk, we'll get closer to the water and you'll just let me know if you lose me. I guess you can't let me know if you lose me, right? And today's topic, because we're in such a high vibrational place, but we're talking about a lower vibrational, the spirit of jealousy. You know, sometimes you have to find that balance, that yin and that yang, the divine feminine and divine masculine. You're from Central California. Very cool. I'm in SoCal. Are you close to the coast? Or you said Central, so clearly. I didn't know if you mean Central, North and South, or East and West. So are you inland or are you close to the ocean? Welcome into the chat, everyone. Happy to have you here. Bear with the elements. We're out in Mama Nature, so therefore we're going to get a little bit of wind, a little bit of waves. I'm always talking about grounding your feet, spending time in nature, so here we are. All right. Right in the middle. Okay. Have you been experiencing this really hot weather? Today is the first cool day. We're back at 75 after being at 95. And I live close to the ocean, so we don't see temperatures like that. Most people don't even have AC units because the weather is always like a cool 70 something. So when it does roast in September and October for about 6 weeks, it's brutal. Mother Nature made by God. Criminal. It's a movie called Criminal, 2016. I'll have to add that to the list. I will have to add that to the list. Thank you for sharing. Oh, I thought you were saying you remind me of a movie I watched. I see now that you're saying Mother Nature was made by God. Yes, well, mothers do create. Most of us came from our feminine energy, our mother's womb. That's just facts. So, divine feminine, Mother Nature, that's where we came from, my love. Stephen Anderson, welcome in. My name is Amber, and I go by the Pathless Woods 333. Had to add the 333 because when I created my channel, YouTube created their own gaming channel with the same name as me. So I had to add the numbers. Sunny, I have my moderator here in the chat. So for anyone feeling funny, you're going to have to deal with Sunny, okay? Only high vibration in here today. We may be talking about the spirit of jealousy, but we're not going to experience it in the chat, not when we have a moderator. Welcome in. Is it Stephen or Stefan? The Pathless Woods. There's pleasure in the pathless woods. If you know that poem by Lord Byron, it's not about being aimless or directionless. It's more so about being a trailblazer, being confident in yourself, in your life's mission and purpose by the Most High, and walking in that in faith, despite it being the path less traveled. Okay, watch Criminal 2016 and good luck. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'll pan it back to the water. Got some people sitting here now. You know, when you're a trailblazer, how that goes. You have some surfers in the water. I do swim. I do surf, actually. I'm still very much a beginner surfer, but I surf. I bodyboard. I longboard. I don't skateboard. I don't have any cool tricks or anything like that. Just cruising energy. If you're here in the chat and you're ready for the topic, the spirit of jealousy, leave a 333. Today's live is not going to be as long as, say, my tarot readings. Today, I just wanted it to be a vibe, honestly, at the beach, connect with you all. When we talk about something that as low vibrational as the spirit of jealousy and envy and all the negativity that can come with it, I first want to just always remind you that you are divinely guided and protected as the chosen ones. And so these things are going to inevitably come along your path to deter you from your life's mission. But we're reminded when we ground our feet, when we connect with Mama Nature, that we're impenetrable. Our spirit, our soul, our divine energy will live on. And the vessel is just a momentary human experience. Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for the dolphins and whales. You know, that's, if I'm being completely honest, I haven't gotten in the water to surf this year. I still want to. The ocean's been calling to me, but with so many of the changes in the climate and the weird activity that's been going on in the ocean, a lot of people are reporting sharks coming in much closer to land, which, if you're not a surfer, if you don't get in the ocean, most shark attacks do happen to the people who are just wading their feet. They're up to knee or calf length in the water. That's usually where most shark attacks happen, is in shallow water. So it's, you know, and then obviously your deep ocean, your open water. But for the most part, they're not trying to eat humans. They might just be curious about you and take a nibble, but that nibble could be very fatal if it's on a main artery. So we don't want to play any games. But I say all of that to say something in my intuition has just been telling me when it's time to get back in the water, you will know. So in the meantime, I dip my feet. I come here to connect, but I will get in there very soon once I feel back safe, because it is the ultimate meditation. Once you're out there in the water, past these rocks, past those first few sets of waves, you hear nothing on land. It's completely quiet and you're one with Mama Ocean. Now succumbing and having to bend and ebb and flow with her, because If you haven't checked out my video, Why We Should Respect Women in Water and What Surfing Taught Me, I'll give you a brief synopsis here. When those big waves are coming in, right now we're only at a half moon, so we're not at the full moon. The waves are always bigger, the tide is always stronger at the full moon. But when you're out there surfing, much of it is just sitting on your board waiting for that perfect wave, much like life. That's why they say to enjoy the present time, because it is a gift. But as the waves start to increase in size, you have to know when to dive under them, or when to ride them. And if you try to outrun her, well, she will inevitably capsize you, and it's not going to be a fun experience. I don't recommend that. So you must either dive under and through her to avoid that wave, or you're going to turn, paddle like hell, and catch that wave. There's only 3 options here. Sarah, welcome in. One of my newest subscribers, always sending the good energy in the comments. I greatly appreciate having you here. I'm happy that you caught me live as well. As I was saying to Sebastos, I really want to keep this live schedule going of Wednesdays and Saturdays. I did an impromptu live on Monday, and that was fun. I still may throw ones in, but I want to keep a consistent schedule of Wednesday and Saturday. Let me know in the chat if that sounds good to you. And the reason for some of you subscribe when I'm just using my hands doing the tarot reading. For others of you, you met me by me showing my face. I like to switch it up because as evolved as we like to, all of us, myself included, as evolved as we'd like to believe we are, many times we do judge someone's vessel. So it's nice sometimes to attract in different types of subscribers when I'm only showing my hands in a tarot reading, and they get to connect with my energy live. It's not just a short where someone's trying to, put your entire character in a box within 60 seconds or less. But in a live, we can connect with each other's energy. It's interactive, it's in real time. And sometimes showing my hands, you're hearing my voice and you're hearing my message, and that may pull you in. Where sometimes you may see my face and you see yourself in me, or in your grandmother, a friend, and that may pull you in. So I like to switch it up just to try to reach all sides of my chosen tribe, my collective. Oh wow, Flora B, welcome in. You're here after the social media video. I love it. I made that video almost 3 years ago, and still my most watched video to date, and it never gets old. That's part of today's topic, actually, with the spirit of jealousy. I see you say you're a Libra. Yeah, okay, I'm a Libra myself, so my birthday is coming up in a few Sundays as well. My advice for Libras right now, I actually shared it on my Patreon. I believe her name is Sister Zodiac, and she speaks of the 52-day cycles that we all go through. So this is for everyone, but since you asked, my beautiful Libra sister, within the 52 days following your birthday, that is when your energy is the most potent. So that is a time where you will come across people in high places and high spaces, whether that be economically, social status. It may even just be your high vibe tribe that you've been looking for, waiting to connect with. So make sure you're not shying away in your 52-day cycle following your Earth Day, your personal Earth Day. Allow yourself to be seen, allow your voice to be heard, and allow your gifts to shine during that time. And you will be rewarded for that because you are in that 52 days following your Earth Day. And just another reminder, another great way to celebrate feminine energy is to call your mom. She's probably going to call you. For those of you who are still lucky enough to have your mothers here on this earthly 3D plane, call upon her even if she's not here, because she's speaking to you. But your birthday is exactly that. Many of us did not give birth on our Earth Day. So I love to call it our Earth Day. It's our mother's birthday. She's the one who birthed us into existence on that day. And I think the more we express gratitude for our mothers on that day, that's the true Mother's Day in my book. And if you're into more esoteric spell casting, you'll know that by celebrating a birthday, it is you allowing your energy into the aging process. Okay, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. If you're interested, let me know and I will do a video on that. I love that, Sarah. Yes, call your mom. I actually said that to my mom just this past year, this past September on my birthday in 2023, my Earth Day. I said, you know what, Mom? I realized that I'm supposed to be celebrating you. I didn't give birth. You gave birth to me. So that's the real Mother's Day. But of course, we like to pervert everything and make it some commercial holiday where you're supposed to spend a bunch of money instead of allowing it to be a celebration of life for both you coming earthside for this human experience, whatever your mission was called to be here, but celebrating your mother in that. Very, very cool. Rest in peace to your mother. Yes. Flora, welcome in. If you're here in the chat, make sure you give it a like. It helps me to reach more people, more of our chosen tribe. So I greatly appreciate you. If you're here, give a like. Maybe share the live with someone else. We're about to go ahead and get into some signs of jealousy. I had to open it with the good vibrations, show the ocean, because it can be considered a low vibrational topic. But as a chosen one, if you're here in the chat, you know there's oftentimes much negative energy sent your way. The spirit of envy and jealousy will live upon the people who are living in that lower vibration. They're not ready to accept your light, or deeper than that, it's not even about you. It's always about them. Because true love will always come from within. I say it in every live. Okay, so we're going to dive into the spirit of jealousy. I have a few notes here, so don't mind me looking at my notes. Oh, I'm sitting on a rock, but I'm surprisingly more comfortable than when I was in the sand. I pulled the microphone away. Let me know if you can still hear me. Sebastios, I have not heard of larvacite. I'm not even sure I'm saying that right, but yes, school me. This is all about sharing knowledge here. My hat is just flipping up and flipping down, depending on which way I turn. So I have my own fan set going over here. Okay, let's dive in. Let's dive in, collective. I'm going to do a switch between myself while I'm talking, and then I'll show you a bit of the ocean. We may even start to walk. This isn't going to be as long as my normal lives, but I will catch you all again on Saturday. So be sure, if you like this type of content, if you like tarot, if you like esoteric wisdom, be sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you know and you're notified when I go live. So, chosen ones, let's talk about the spirit of jealousy. And I would like to preface this topic by saying that jealousy is a normal human emotion. Just like anger and fear, they do serve their purpose in different situations. We're going to do a hand switch. So I want to make it very clear that I am not shaming anyone for having feelings of jealousy, but it is how we handle the jealousy that matters. If you're here for my social media video, you know I even said in the video how social media can bring out that spirit of jealousy, I myself being jealous. However, it's about how we transmute that energy that matters. So a question you might ask yourself in any situation where you feel jealousy coming about is, are you transmuting it to a higher vibration, or are you being controlled by a lower vibrational emotion? It's okay, much like a thought, to let it come into the mind, respect it, and then let it pass. You don't want to harbor or hold on to that emotion. And what I want you to know, my fellow chosen tribe, is that when you're living authentically as a chosen one, you become a mirror to others' own life choices. And most often, you're showing them a path that they did not travel. This is because you're living so authentically in who you are, it doesn't mirror into other people's reality as the normal choice or as keeping up with the Joneses. So people, most people who are still in the matrix, they desire to have their life choices reflected back at them, to be validated and confirmed by others through mimicking behaviors, if you will. In other words, by living the way they choose to live. So they want to see you in themselves and vice versa. So when you come along full of purpose, authenticity, and originality, this will spark jealousy in many people. And here's how this jealousy it can manifest in others. For some, it feels like regret for the path not traveled. However, this should only be momentary, and many of you probably experience this, where it's a momentary feeling of regret, seeing a path that you maybe did not take and admiring it. But when you're truly happy within yourself, you'll shake that feeling off because you're genuinely content with your life, and you know that these are just natural responses to your human emotions. Now, for others, they may even have such a high vibration that when they see your light, they will actually be inspired. I love these types of people. They'll be motivated by you to say, try something new or to make a change for the better. They may even tell you that you inspired them or ask you for advice publicly and share and support you in doing so. But for what we're here to talk about today, for those who are on a lower vibration, they're not going to so much experience regret or inspiration. Instead, this jealousy, which is a natural emotion, will evolve or be transmuted into envy or pure disdain for you. Now, remember, much easier to point a finger at someone else than it is to deal with the person looking back at them in the mirror. So, this jealousy and envy can manifest itself in a few different behaviors. If you've experienced any of these, be sure to let me know down in the chat. And some of these behaviors from other people, they're going to be subtle behaviors, whereas others are going to be macro, okay? Very obvious, if you will. So let's just go through a few. One of them is that they bring up the old you from a decade or more ago, a few years ago, more than they bring up the new you. They're perfectly fine and comfortable with who you were to them before, but they're not comfortable with this higher vibrational, walking in your purpose version of yourself. So for some of you, I'll give like a very worldly example. It could be you're on a weight loss journey, and on this weight loss journey, when you start out, no one is threatened by you at that point, maybe because you're overweight. And trigger warning to anyone who deals with body dysmorphia, this may be a sensitive video for you, and this just may not be your video. So I am giving you a disclaimer. But first, what they'll do is they will start to clap when they see you on this weight loss journey. They'll clap because they're still not threatened, but they see you, okay? And then once they begin to see your progress and it begins to surpass their expectations of you, well, now all of a sudden that clapping turns into, well, you didn't look bad before, right? You're almost too skinny now. And these comments that seem, or maybe they don't even know it, maybe subconscious jealousy. And for many people who are operating in the matrix, it is. That's what we call your non-player characters. They don't even know that their mind is in a mental prison. Okay, so they say things out of just pure emotion without filtering anything. And this can be very hurtful, especially because you're elevating. And so you expect those closest to you to applaud or to support that. But you have to remember that people want you to do great, but oftentimes when they're not healed, they don't want to see you do better than them. Backhanded compliments, exactly. Okay, Sebastian, I see you're talking about gems. I'll have to do another video on protection. I shared one to my Patreon about how to protect your home, doorways, and things, but I'll try to do a video on that as well. But Sarah, backhanded compliments. You got it. Um, I'll give an example of me, and this is personal, but I'm going to share it. I have not eaten red meat or pork for 14 years. Okay. I went plant based, which is, may lose me a few subscribers. That's my truth. I went plant based almost 8 years ago. And I was honestly not prepared for the backlash that I was met with when, truthfully, it just solved so many issues that I was dealing with, like inflammation in my body as an athlete, as I'm also a yoga teacher. And so the more I can live a healthy lifestyle and move my body for as long as possible, the more I'm going to want to do that. And I was just so blind, like the fool in the tarot deck, just blind faith. I was expecting everyone to applaud this lifestyle change that not only could extend my life, but it made me live a more pain-free life. And I can't say too much about that here because this video won't get pushed, but maybe another video for another day. I love that for you. No red meat. And that's my thing. I'm a no judgment zone. If you want to go meatless for one day out of the week or do a 7-day challenge, that's on you. I can only plant the seed. It's always up to you to water it. But as I say, in the process, if you choose not to water the seed, well, at least don't stomp on my garden in the process. Okay. And I will plant that seed of knowledge if someone feels ready, but I never want to feel judgmental towards someone else. Mine started off as a simple 7-day challenge, and I loved how I felt so much that I just kept going after the third 7-day challenge. So, and here I am 8 years later, had no intention of becoming plant-based, but here I am. And the 14 years ago, that was just after playing sports in college. I just wanted to eliminate the red meat and the pork. It wasn't that deep, but I realized when you speak about it, people are very sensitive about their food, and I don't blame them. So back to how this envious or jealous spirit might manifest in this situation is people will constantly remind me. They'll say things like, "You used to love eating bacon. You loved bacon." And I'm looking like, I was 8 years old. I am a whole grown human now, but I can't say that. I just laugh it off because I honestly just don't want to entertain it. People will also say, "Oh, I don't know how you could do it. I could never." And I always just respond with, "Well, you don't know what you don't know." And I never say it as far as ignorance is bliss, but that's essentially what it means. You can't speak on something that you've never tried. You're just making an assumption. That's the difference between action and assumption, right? And so on one hand, you have these people criticizing you for, say, your weight loss journey or your lifestyle change. But on the other hand, you'll see them actively congratulate someone for, say, quitting smoking cigarettes. And you may wonder to yourself, why is it easy for them to applaud this other person for something that's clearly a healthy lifestyle change, but they can't offer that same level of respect or reciprocity to me? And I had to realize, which is why I'm even making this video today, is it's quite simple. One, people sometimes will like on others what they don't like on you. But deeper than that, if they themselves aren't cigarette smokers, well, then it's much easier to applaud someone for quitting something that they don't do themselves. Because in order to applaud someone who's doing something you're not doing, that requires that mirror to come up and have you question your own life choices. And people do not like that. That's when they'll say you're being preachy, or not even realizing that they're actually preaching at you, right? So let's go into the second way that you can tell that you have a jealous or envious spirit. This is that people don't celebrate you how you celebrate them. And that runs right off from the last topic. Or like maybe they just don't give it as much energy. When you have really good news, something you're very excited about, they may even tell you congratulations or wow, but chosen, you can feel their lackluster response. You can feel that they're not that excited for you. And it kind of makes you not only question yourself, but what may be triggering that response in them. It makes you wonder why they can't celebrate you. This is, once again, let's just call a spade in this situation. It's because they're seeing you as a threat. A lot of the times, I don't think people move out of ill intentions or even from a conscious space. I think people are doing it because they just have some unhealed trauma, as many people do along their healing journey, and that manifests in pointing the finger at you but never back at themselves. It's really that simple. And I think the perfect example of this on a mass collective level is how we're often quick to celebrate people who we feel are less attractive, less fit, less intelligent, or just straight up less capable than us. We feel comfortable celebrating the people that don't threaten us. Okay? So, in other words, we celebrate mediocrity because it poses no threat to our current existence or circumstance. That's the uncomfortable truth. If you agree, leave a 333 in the comments. This isn't going to be a long live today. I want to enjoy the rest of this sunlight and this sunset, and I will be back on Saturday. Be sure to like the live if you're here in the chat and it's resonating with you. So we'll continue on with the congratulating. We're going to do one more sign of the jealous spirit, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the body positivity movement. Personal trigger warning, this may not be for you, but this is how I believe the harmful movement of body positivity came to be. And while I hold no judgment, because we never know what someone is going through, whether it be illness, depression, etc., society nowadays has been conditioned to blindly celebrate being mediocre. This is going to sound very rough. I know it's hard to hear. But this mediocrity is dangerous, and they're oftentimes the leading causes of death, being heart disease and cancer that are due to the foods and diet, and to no fault of these people. Most of the food we grab in the supermarket isn't that great for us. And I always say, when you walk into a supermarket or a grocery store, if the produce and the vegetables are one section, then what is the rest of the store? What's the rest of the store? It's not real food. Oh my goodness. But basically, it's much easier to celebrate someone who doesn't challenge you or to be the fittest or the strongest or the most accountable version of yourself. And we oftentimes see this even with addiction. When we hang around other people with addictions, they'll validate your experience because it doesn't require them to look at themselves. And that addiction can be food, it can be, anything. You know what they are, okay? And most people who frown upon people who they think have addiction, I brought this up in another video, most of us are addicted to our phones, to food, to sugar, to many things that you wouldn't feel are immoral, but they are. So judge ye not, right? And so I'll continue on. You may often, chosen one, see this within even your own family, where you deliver good news. Maybe someone brings up your good news in a group chat, and you may have a few people who are like, oh, I always knew you could do it. But like the people even closest to you might separately message you asking you about it or saying congratulations. And it's kind of strange because you're wondering why not just celebrate me publicly? Much like in the social media video where people will privately message you, or when they run into you in public, they'll give you your flowers. Or better yet, when you're 6 feet under or in a casket, they'll give you your flowers. But for some reason, it's really hard to do it publicly for everyone to see when it's not for show. And so in this group chat, you may wonder why people are doing this. And even in a real-time experience, it may be something as simple as amongst a group of people, you're being celebrated. Yet this person, their spirit, they may not even know it, but their spirit is so bothered by your success that they may get up and leave the table and to do something very trivial like throw a napkin away or wash a dish, knowing damn well they don't like to do dishes. Or just to fill up a cup of water, just something to be away from that energy of people celebrating you. That is something to watch out for, my chosen ones, because people do often mistake our kindness for weakness, not knowing. If this resonates, leave a 333. Thank you, Sarah, for leaving a 333. I see Flora, you said, how can we protect our energy from a friend who's not celebrating us or doesn't have the best intention? Well, much like that addiction I talked about, admittance is the first step. You have to not be in denial about who this friend is to you. You have to, I'm switching my arms. I brought my tripod today, but I forgot the extension part of it. So my arm over here is a selfie stick. It's getting tired. But we have to be able to call these people out. And I don't mean verbally. Oftentimes it'll be your silence or removing your energy that speaks the loudest. But recognizing the behavior, once you see it once, you're going to continue to see it. And now always give people grace. I'm imperfect. Everyone in this chat is imperfect in that we make mistakes. It's part of the human experience. But if this is a common behavior, well, then that person truthfully is not your friend. They have demons within them, unhealed trauma that has to heal before they can come around and feel comfortable even celebrating someone else's success. Yes. I hope that helps. And we'll continue on because here's a few things to look out for. Body language. So that unspoken language of that person getting up from the table, just doing something trivial while people are celebrating you, that is their body, their spirit being irritated by your success. And so they remove themselves from it. But this can also manifest through body language like rolling of eyes, sighing, when you walk into a room, because people's faces will always give away what they're hiding on the inside. So when you enter a room, eyes may get to rolling, people are sighing, maybe they're giggling, or they may even, in the circle of people they're talking to, they may close off the circle to pretty much let you know you're not welcome without having to say anything. And so it's how they position their body to you, whether it's away from you, closing you off, and standing, more closely with the people that they're connecting with. And that's sending a clear message to you that you're not welcome, plain and simple. And I have an example too of body language. I've as a yoga teacher, I've collaborated with people, I've taught at events, and there was one event in particular where I had many times had a repeat client where I taught at his home in his backyard. It was a very nice yard, and people would come, pay a fee, and not to me, but to him. He hired me, and everyone would connect and do yoga, breath work. I did the sound healing, and he was trying to promote this event that he was putting on, so much so that he hired a videographer, and they even brought a drone with them. So we have an entire videographer moving about the yoga class, as well as a drone hovering above getting aerial view shots. And I decide, even though I'm not on social media, I do have a website. I decided I'm going to do a time lapse on my iPhone, and that way I can share it to my site, or just have some clips of me in action as a teacher. That's what I do. And I will never forget, this is a few years back, as I set up my camera, I asked the owner of the home, is it cool, even though I see he's filming everything, I'm like, is it cool if I turn on my camera and just time lapse this? It'll only catch maybe the front row of people, mainly myself. And one woman who was in the front row, she was like, you're going to record this? Where are you going to put it? And I remember thinking, as a drone was literally flying above head with a camera, and there was a man moving a hand grip with a whole professional camera, I'm like, why is she bothered that I just want to film on my iPhone? And I remember thinking that was a weird question, but I said, don't worry, I'm not going to put it on social media. It probably will just go on my website. And I remember thinking, that's weird energy, but I'm in my namaste, so let me leave it alone. Well, it wasn't until I got back home that evening where I watched the time lapse, where in different moments where I'm speaking to the class, she is rolling her eyes, sighing, looking at me with the most evil eye energy. And I'm just like, you can't deny it. I zoomed in on it. When your intuition speaks about a person, it's not lying. Some people, I can't get caught up in that energy, and neither should you. But when someone shows you who they are, some of you may even catch this with your friends. You might like be getting ready for a night out and set up your camera, and you'll be surprised what you catch when your camera is up. I don't mean record people without their knowledge, of course, but I'm just saying you'd be surprised if you let a camera run, the body language that some of your so-called friends would give off about you, which is why I keep my energy. I love my solitude. I do love connecting with you, but I'm protective about who I share my energy with because I know my vessel, I know my light, I know my gifts. If someone is unhealed or they haven't yet kindled the light within them or been called upon to fulfill their mission, I'm just an easy target. And I refuse to subject myself to that where I'm at on my spiritual journey. I'd rather protect myself. All right, y'all. Got 6 people in the chat. If you're here and you're enjoying the messages, leave a like, okay? You may also, I'm going to make a longer video on this because I'm not going to stay on the live too much longer, but they'll poke fun at you. They'll make seemingly harmless jokes. They'll do it, especially when you're around other people. And this especially goes for, I hate this term, but ugly ducklings. My women, my men out there who you grew up, but you grew up late in life. And so you have many people who maybe picked on you in high school or just didn't even look your way, coming back around to tell you, to try to flatter you. But also you'll have the friends that you've had for a long time who were completely comfortable with your mediocrity, as I called it. But the minute you glue up, and this isn't just physical, okay? Even though this is a 3D topic, this is a 5D spiritual energy of jealousy and it can hop vessels. When they see your body, whether you go through a weight loss journey or you wear your hair differently, or more importantly, your energy, because your energy will speak volumes. Your energy makes you beautiful. You can be the most beautiful vessel and have the ugliest spirit. And on the flip side, you can maybe not be traditionally attractive, but when you open your mouth and it just sounds like gold flowing out, people are like, who is that, man or woman? Like, I want to get close to that person because they see that energy. And that's another thing to watch out for, chosen ones. People who pretend to like you or pretend to be interested in you romantically, but really they just want that energy. They just want that good energy. Look at this pup here. That's another thing as a chosen ones. You attract animals, they come near you. They know you have good energy, so they're not even worried about you. Hi, baby. Okay. Hi. This is not my dog, y'all, just so you know. Anyhow, back to the don't judge my toes, please. I've been in the sand, so they're a little bit ashy. Yeah, this is my feet up, reclined. Happy to see you're still in the chat, Sebastian. Sarah, appreciate you. You said you've come to the much needed realization that their negative energy isn't worth your time. Exactly. When you start to have more respect for yourself, and I have a couple shorts on my channel where I talk about why they don't support you. It's that jealous spirit. It's only a 60-second short, so I couldn't dive that deep, but that's exactly what it is. And I say on there, the only people who are going to be mad about you setting better boundaries, and this goes for you, Flora, if you're still here as well, the only people who are going to be mad about you setting better boundaries for yourself are those who used to benefit from your lack thereof. So they were cool with hitting you up last minute and knowing you'd be available. They were cool with having you come around when you weren't the one who people were interested in. But now that your light is shining so bright, they don't like that. They can't exist. Whereas true light knows it can exist in the room with other light. It's not influence. I can see another beautiful woman, a woman who's way more beautiful than me, and I'm like, I'm going to let her know. I'm not threatened because I know who I am on the inside. I know this vessel is so temporary. But when you walk into a room, another good example is when you're in a relationship with people. I cannot tell you how many events I have walked into with my partner, and it took for another man to call this out, where he said straight up, women are going to be jealous of you. When you're a beautiful woman, you walk in, you're an accessory to a man. And now, not demeaning women out there, because we're not just inanimate objects. However, many times women choose mates based off of social cues. And when the best social cue that a man can give to a woman that he's a good guy is he has a good woman. And so what you'll see, and this goes for my men and my women, for women who have good men, you may make friends who come around just because they want to get closer to your man. These are low vibrational things. This is why you have to be protective of your energy. But we've walked into parties, back to my story time, and I will speak to women like, oh, hey ladies, how's it going? And then like I'll hear them, oh, I'm good. And then they'll snicker a little bit. And I'm just like, am I just thinking too much because I'm antisocial? And really I'm not antisocial. I have the gift of gab. I wouldn't hop on this live if I didn't. I just don't like wasting it on low vibrational energy. So when I go out, I never want people to think when they see me, oh, she probably thinks she's full of herself or whatever. So I try almost sometimes to make up for that. I try to speak to people, say hello, and then they mistake that kindness for weakness. So those same women who snickered when I introduced myself, as soon as I went to the restroom, they walked up and were talking to my partner. And then when they left, they actually proceeded to say goodbye to him and not to me. And I remember him being like, that was very disrespectful. We had, have a conversation about it. But that is how it will be. Because some people will want to get close to you because they see that light. Other people will straight up ignore you. And others will try to get close to the people that are close to you so that they can feel like they have one up on you. If this is resonating, let me know in the chat or share an experience that you've had with jealous. It doesn't have to be an entire story. It can just be a few words of like what you notice in people who have jealous spirits that maybe I haven't touched upon just yet. Let's see what else I have here in my notes. I had a lot, but the poking fun, that behind every joke. If someone isn't cracking jokes on you like that when it's just one-on-one, but you get around a group of the opposite sex and all of a sudden you're competition. You're not even in a competition with anyone except the version of you from yesterday, but they're in a silent competition with you. And you being aware of this is key. You don't have to call them out. You don't have to. I never encourage you or advise you to start an argument with this person. It's best that you cut them off slowly and silently or altogether, depending on how they violated your energy. Okay, that's always up for you to use your own intuition and discernment. Yes, Flora, I'm glad you were still here for that. Okay, so let's see what else I have here. Okay, I call this, the people who are in secret competition with you, I call it the Duolingo effect. And I say this because I've been on this language learning app, Duolingo, for years now. And I'm about to hit 4 years with no days off. So when I say I practice French every day, tous les jours, je pratique tous les jours. I practice every day. And what I realized, because they've created it to be a competition where if you're in the top league, like a diamond league, there's always a top 10. What I've noticed, and this is a cue as well, a sign that you're even a chosen one. Okay, I don't think y'all ready for this. Maybe I'm getting way too excited about something so trivial, but put the notes away. We're just gonna talk now. A sign that you are the chosen one is much like the Duolingo effect, where when you're in 10th place, or maybe you're in the demotion zone, you're like in the bottom 20, no one's checking for you. No one's trying to surpass your points in Duolingo. They don't care. But the minute you enter into that top 3 where you get badges next to your name, all of a sudden you have a target on your back. And so that's proof right there of your elevation. People will be in silent competition with you because they see you in the number 1 spot or the number 2 spot. So now all of a sudden the person who wasn't motivated to learn more and to get more points on Duolingo sees you surpass them by maybe 50 points. And now they're back on the app. They surpassed me. Now you're in a back-to-back daily battle with someone who's battling for you of the number 1 spot. And here's how you can tell the people who are worthy, because I welcome in competition when it comes to knowledge. The people who are on your level, When they surpass you on their next set of lessons, they're going to blow you out of the water. They're going to put up some real distance between you and them to show you, like, I deserve this number one spot. Whereas someone whose energy is just bothered by the fact that you took the number one spot or the number two spot, they're only going to put like 50 points more up on you because they're not actually meant for that number one position. They don't have it in them. They just see you having it and they want it for themselves. Oh, tu es français, Fla. How is my accent? Because I'm very American. I love when I've spoke French in a couple of my lives, and I have a few people surprisingly who speak French. I need more real world practice. An app can only do so much, but if you don't use it, you lose it. So that is what I call the Duolingo effect, though. And that is it goes with the Olympians, it goes with top athletes, it goes for the CEO or someone in a high ranking position. When you are in that high ranking position, you automatically are seen and you have a target on your back. People want what you have. And that, my friend, is the spirit of envy or jealousy. If you'd like me to make a longer video, like a pre-recorded video where I can really dive deep, let me know. I might even put that together for y'all. Just know that as a chosen one, as you awaken, as you elevate in consciousness, and as your authenticity grows brighter, it's going to disturb the demons within people. And just know, I made this whole video because I wanted people to know jealousy is a normal human emotion. We all have it. It's just how we transmute it. I also don't want you to think you're crazy or that, if you're just an a-hole, that's a whole different situation of people treating you bad. But if you know you're moving out of your heart chakra, you have nothing for love but people, and they're just like turn their nose up when you come around, that's a true sign that you're a chosen one and you're dealing with the envious, jealous spirit. It doesn't mean you're above them. It just means that you've awakened at a faster rate, or they're just not at your level just yet. Yes, happy to have all of you here. I think I'm going to close this live here. Probably going to dive into my tarot on Saturday, and I'll probably even put up a poll this week about what topic you guys want to see on Saturday. I'll let my chosen tribe decide. So be sure to subscribe, like the video, share it with a friend who may need to hear it, and turn on the notifications. Check out my community post so you can vote on what type of tarot and topic we're going to do on Saturday. Thank you to everyone, Sebastios, Flora, Sarah, for commenting, for Sunny, my moderator who's always here keeping the vibration high. I appreciate you all. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Let's pan at the water. I look forward to seeing you all at the next one. Might even share some of these sunset photos. Peace and love. Ase.